A very good evening to you and a very warm welcome to TV47 Weekend Edition. This is To The Point. Welcome. We have a lot in store for you, including a discussion later on in the broadcast about bipolar disorder as we celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. But that will be coming later on. Let's first of all take a look at the stories that have made it to the top of our headlines tonight.
Tonight, President Ruto breaks silence on the course of his US travel amid uproar.
Tulivamiwa jana na mbuzi zangu 50 zilienda na nashukuru serikali kwa response.
Security team deploys armed personnel carriers and aerial surveillance to hunt down Baringo bandits who shot a KDF officer and a woman. Tonight, trouble in the mountain.
Mimi na rais tunafanya kazi nzuri, tunapendana, tunapanga kazi yetu.
DP Gachagua affirms his relationship with Ruto is still strong as he tours Ruto's backyard amid rift.
Hii ni mara ya pili na tunaona ya raundi itatuadhiri hata kuliko ya mara ya kwanza.
Also tonight, Lake Naivasha reaches unprecedented levels in just 3 years, prompting Kihoto Estate residents to plead to higher grounds amid Mother Nature's wrath.
All right, welcome to this live broadcast. We are coming live to you, of course, from our TV47 headquarters right here in Nairobi. My name is Anne Odida and Catherine Simaloi will be your sign language interpreter tonight. Let's get started. Now, in response to the recent banditry attacks in the North Kenya, the security teams and the Kenya Defence Forces have intensified efforts to apprehend the assailants. 5 armed personnel carriers have been deployed alongside enhanced aerial surveillance to track down the perpetrators. Chichi Josephine has that story.
Tension gripped Baringo and other shopping centers shattered their doors. The populace trembling in fear of the relentless onslaught by the daring bandits who bravely defied all security measures, absconding with a staggering 140 goats.
Mimi ni kati ya wale ambao tulivamiwa jana na mbuzi zangu 50 zilienda.
In a harrowing saga unfolding over the course of 2 relentless days, the KDF gunship wreaked havoc upon the helpless villagers of Lorok and Moinonin, where heinous band of marauders stole over 140 goats, leaving a trail of desolation in their wake.
Ile matokeo niliona ni kwamba hii ndege imesaidia kwa sababu ile mifugo tumeipata leo na zilizopatikana jana kidogo kidogo ni kwa sababu ya hii ndege.
This is one of the best response they have done. Walipopiga bombs sehemu hizo wakora wakatoroka.
Miraculously, only 29 of the stolen livestock was salvaged in what amounted to a pitiful fraction of the devastation inflicted upon the once peaceful communities, now haunted by the spectre of rampant banditry that forced the closure of 20 schools.
Nimesikia kutoka Chesirimyon, nasemekana waliingia kuelekea Nginyang', hata wengine wanakimbia bila nguo kwa sababu hii ya bomu.
Na hiyo response ilikuwa number 1. So serikali walifanya kitendo ambalo hawajawahi tangu maybe enzi ya Mzee Moi, leo ndio wametenda kitendo ambaye ni amana.
This is for the first time for so many days, kama miezi 3 hivyo wamekuwa wanatumia kifaro na askari ya ground, lakini walipoleta sasa jeshi ya angani likawazidi nguvu na wakaweza kutoroka.
With a daring effort by the KDF and NPR forces, Sunday's operation yielded a recovery of 29 goats, with bandits believed to have survived the relentless barrage of aerial strikes from the KDF bombardment.
Tunaomba ya kwamba if anything within the course of the time wakirudi tena ndege siletwe, na hiyo ndio sasa kumbe ni kiboko ya wajamaa. Tunashukuru kwa sababu wakitumia hii njia tunaona ya kwamba at least amani inarudi.
Chichi, Josephine, TV47.
All right, now President William Ruto's historic 4-day state visit to the United States of America continued to set tongues wagging. Ruto Sunday igniting another debate of his sincere stand of austerity measures that the government has taken, where he defended the cost of the travel, of which a chartered business jet was used to ferry the commander-in-chief plus his delegate at an estimate of more than 200 million Kenyan shillings. Ruto stating that the cost was less if he traveled with the country's airline, Kenya Airways. But is that the case? Moige crunches those figures. Moige, over to you.
President William Ruto has defended his choice of transport during his 4-day state visit to the United States, stating, and I quote, "As a responsible steward of public resources and in keeping with my determination for us to live within our means and that I should lead from the front, in so doing, the cost was less than traveling on Kenya Airways," end of quote. However, there are questions about the actual cost involved. The chartered plane from Abu Dhabi-based private jet aviation company Royal Jet Group reportedly ranges from 98 million shillings one way. Going by this figure, it could have costed Kenyan taxpayers more than 200 million shillings to ferry the president to the United States and back. In contrast, what if President and his delegates flew commercial using Kenya Airways? Kenya Airways quotes to travel first class from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Hartsfield Jackson International Airport, which was the president's first stop, to be 664,664 shillings for a single two-way ticket. Given the figure multiplied by 30, which is an average figure of the president's delegates, it sums up to 19 million shillings, or approximately 20 million. These will have been the cost of ferrying the president and a team of 32 and from Atlanta, Georgia, United States of America. Now you do the math.
All right, thank you, Moige, for that insight. Now, tonight, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has called on President William Ruto to disclose the details of his recent trip to the United States. Kalonzo questioned the president's decision to use a private jet instead of the national carrier and said that this move should be closely followed. A statement on X, Kalonzo said that the opposition must raise such concerns. Listen in.
To challenge President Ruto, because he has just said that in a very democratic manner, because that's what we are. He has just said that the 200 million shillings that the State House Controller or Minister of Foreign Affairs paid to this royal company from Dubai to Washington is actually cheaper than flying Kenya Airways. We have also to now really come out as a nation and pitch for truth, even in terms of top leadership of this country. And the good thing is President Ruto is saying, because he's a people's servant and he wants to express, kind of live transparently, it would be very good if that can be published, how much it costs to fly Kenya Airways, because a regular flight from Nairobi to New York by KQ.
And I think it is also important that Daktari Samoei William Ruto awe na heshima kwa Wakenya. Sababu pia tukiwa na hii kitu, you can always find out what he is telling us. When he lies to the whole country that it was cheaper to take a jet as opposed to taking a commercial flight, ilile sasa zingine unasikia kama heshima kwetu hamna na sio jambo nzuri.
Away from that, drama and chaotic scenes unfolded at the Anglican Church of Kenya, ACK, Holy Trinity at Kitengela as two warring factions of congregants clashed over disputed elections conducted 2 months ago. Our reporter Nicholas Mbai now paints the picture.
Simmering tug of war among congregants of the ACK Church erupted into violence as tension reached a breaking point. Journalists present were also attacked, prompting a contingent of police to intervene.
Ni mchungaji anataka kugawanya ndio aweze kuundumu kwa ukabila. Kwa hivyo hii message tuma kwa askofu. Kanisa iwezi kunja kutawaliwa ni polisi ati ndio kuundumiwa ama ndio mchungaji aundumu.
Agitated church members blowing vuvuzelas and carrying placards clashed with those certified the elections, causing confusion and commotion.
Tumekuwa na shida kwa wakati mrefu, lakini kilele yake ilikuja wakati wa election, the last election, because vile election zilifanywa there was a lot of irregularity, na kwa hivyo watu hawakuridhika.
This chaotic scene forced many other congregants to leave the church midway through the service.
Leo nimekuja kwa kanisa na nimeshangaa sana kwa kukuta kanisa yote imejaa polisi. Polisi wamekuja waka take over the church, wakiwa na bunduki, wengine wako ndani ya kanisa wakipatrol ndani na waki-isolate group moja ya kanisa.
Officer in charge of Kitengela Police Station, David Oleshani, was forced to take control of the situation, with officers confiscating the placards and vuvuzelas.
Kuna mambo yetu sawa, sheria ifuatwe vile inatakikana. Hakuna vita na ni aibu sana kukuja hapa ati na uniform. Msiatuharibie appetite ya kusikiza neno. Leo ni siku ya kusikiza neno. Tumekaa wiki moja bila neno.
Dozens of youth allegedly hired by one faction and found campaigning near the church were arrested in the mail. ACK Kitengela congregants who also run an academy within the same compound as the church have recently experienced leadership disputes. One faction is dissatisfied with the outcome of the church leadership election, citing massive rigging. However, the other faction maintains they were the lawfully elected, leaving the congregation deeply divided. Nicholas Mbai reporting for TV47, Kitengela.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Sunday vehemently refuted any notion of discord within the Kenya Kwanza government, emphasizing that his relationship with President William Ruto remains solid. He asserted their joint commitment to ensuring the fulfillment of the national government's manifesto as communicated to Kenyans during the electoral campaign. For further insights, Arnold Adidi now reports.
Barely a week after a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region raised alarm over claims of emerging rifts within the Kenyan government, today the Deputy President sought to reassure Kenyans of a thriving relationship between him and the head of state.
Mimi na rais tunafanya kazi nzuri, tunapendana, tunapanga kazi yetu.
Gachagua, who attended an interdenominational Sunday service in Keses constituency, Uasin Gishu County, painted a picture of a stable government whose primary focus at the moment is delivering services to the people.
Amenipatia kazi mingi, hata ingine inanishinda, ameniwezesha kuendelea na kazi yangu. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu iko imara, tunaendelea na kazi. Kila mtu sasa amekuja kujua ukweli. Rais William Ruto ni kiongozi wa kuaminika, ni kiongozi mzalendo, ni kiongozi wa kuunganisha watu, ni kiongozi hana ukabila.
The second in command did not just stop there. The self-proclaimed man of truth strongly condemned a section of leaders whom he claims have been misleading Kenyans about the government's operations.
Katika hiyo watu wetu ya jamii yetu, ile percentage ilikuwa imeuziwa uongo na propaganda. Nimekuwa nikileta pamoja, kuunganisha, kuleta pamoja nyuma ya rais wetu William Ruto na nyuma ya na ndani ya serikali ya UDA. Na mimi nataka nimwatangazie ya kwamba tumeendelea vizuri sana. Wale watu yote walikuwa nje, ni yote nimeleta pamoja na ninaendelea kuleta pamoja.
Other leaders who accompanied the Deputy President, including Kipkelion East Member of Parliament Joseph Cherorot, have vowed to ensure that the Kenya Kwanza government remains strong and intact, aiming to fulfill their manifesto.
Serikali ya Kenya Kwanza haitagawanyika hata kamwe. Na ningependa kusema kwamba ile ya President 2027 tutakuja sisi wote.
Wameonyesha ya kwamba ni viongozi wa kuunganisha na ni viongozi wa hekima. Na hivyo ndio sisi tunataka.
Sisi tunasimama na rais na wewe na hii serikali kuhakikisha yale mambo yote tuliahidi wananchi tunasuluhisha.
Elsewhere in Western Kenya, members of parliament from the region led by the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula have amplified the call to unite the region under the leadership of the Kenya Kwanza government. The leaders made these remarks during a church fundraiser hosted by Luanda constituency member of parliament Dick Maungu in Esiandumba area, Vihiga County.
Hata ukiwa na msimamo wa kisiasa wa aina gani, mambo ya siasa haina uadui. Mambo ya siasa mkimaliza kubishana, munasalimiana, munasaidiana.
Arnold Adidi, TV47.
Thank you, Arnold. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leaders have called on the church and Kenyans to oppose efforts to undermine democratic advances, accusing President William Ruto of meddling with the independence of the parliament and judiciary. Led by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, the leaders criticized the government's intentions to send out 1,000 law enforcement officers to fight criminal gangs in Haiti, calling the effort a futile priority. Mike Kagwongo with the details.
And that's why we're building a coalition of nations beyond Kenya and the US.
In his monumental state visit to the United States of America last week, President William Ruto defended Kenya's commitment to deploy 1,000 police officers to Port-au-Prince as part of the AU Security Council-based security mission to the troubled Haiti. But his critics are once again on his neck, castigating the move, expected to be executed in 3 weeks' time.
I've now wanted to have President Ruto cited for contempt of court and CS Kindiki cited for contempt of court because they insist on sending these young men to Haiti when there's a court ruling saying, first of all, there must be a bilateral arrangement.
People of Haiti have demonstrated against the government of Kenya, and they have said that Haiti is not for sale.
What you intend to do to send Kenyans to Haiti is unconstitutional, it's illegal. You are defying your own courts and defying the supreme law of the land, which is your constitution.
The former second-in-command faulted the government's plan to deploy police to trouble Haiti instead of addressing insecurity in Baringo and Isiolo counties.
Why don't you deal with insecurity in North Baringo first? That was a way, as a church, that's the way Ole Sapit looked at it, Archbishop Ole Sapit. We need to tell Kenyans the truth.
President William Ruto signed a deal with the United National Security Council to send 1,000 police officers to Haiti last year. With 13 votes in favor and 2 abstentions from Russia and China, the UN Security Council approved Kenya's offer to lead the operation. With the US contributing up to 29 billion shillings, the non-UN mission will be financed entirely by voluntary donations.
The National Security Council has no mandate to deploy police officers outside Kenya and Article 240 sub-Article 8 of the Constitution or any other law.
Other nations sending officers to Haiti include Burundi, Chad, Nigeria, Mauritius, Jamaica, Grenada, Chile, and Paraguay.
We want to challenge him today that apart from Haiti, the church has been very firm on the LGBTQ issue. We want William Ruto to tell Kenyans what was discussed, what was agreed, and if there were any monies given with strings attached on the LGBTQ agenda.
The peacekeeping force is expected to arrive in Haiti to quell growing gang violence in about 3 weeks. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, in a record of 3 years, Lake Naivasha is experiencing unprecedented water levels. This has left residents of GOtv Estate migrating to higher grounds in fear of nature's wrath. There are also imminent health hazards due to the contamination of flooded toilets, as our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru now reports. All right, we will be bringing that story later on. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, Archbishop Martin Kivuva of the Catholic Church in Mombasa has endorsed the recent ban on the sale and transportation of muguka in Mombasa and Kilifi counties. The man of the cloth emphasized that the abuse of muguka has resulted in adverse health effects on the youth and contributed to family instability. Additionally, he urged leaders from other counties to implement similar bans to safeguard children who have ceased attending school due to muguka use and drug abuse. The Archbishop made these remarks following a mass in Lunga town in Kwale County.
Juzi katika bunge la Mombasa limepiga marufuku mimea kama hii. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu mimea hii huharibu vichwa vya watu huingia mazoea ambayo baadaye yanawadhuru kiafya na yanawadhuru kiubongo. Unakuta watu wamevuta bangi, wamekuwa kama zombi, wanaita zombi. Hawajijui jina lao, unaitwa nani? So na kwa kweli mimi naunga mkono kabisa wanaopiga marufuku. Ujuzi wakati wa uchaguzi ilikuwa ni aibu ilioje. Watu wanataka wachaguliwe ili wasaidie watu kupanda bangi. Aya, jamani, huu ni ungwana? Si ungwana. So mimi kama askofu ningependa kwanza nishukuru sana aliyeleta mswada huu katika bunge la Mombasa, kwamba vyakula au vitu ambavyo wanatafuna wanakula na vinavyoathiri maisha yao.
All right, let's take you back to the Lake Naivasha story, where in a record of just 3 years, Lake Naivasha is experiencing unprecedented water levels that has left residents of GOtv Estate migrating to higher grounds. Willie Dennis Njiru with that report.
A fraction of GOtv Estate is on the move following a dramatic increase in Lake Naivasha water level, which have severely impacted the residents' ability to inhabit the area. Nearly half of the estate is currently submerged, forcing some residents to cling to their homes due to a lack of alternatives.
Wataalamu walikuwa wanasema ati hii kitu ilikuja baada ya miaka 100, lakini sasa imejirudia baada ya miaka 3. Sasa tunasidwa sasa wataalamu wakuja watuelezee kama itakuwa hivyo.
The water has neither spared churches that are now immersed, with no services taking place here, with efforts to salvage soaked items in the church building.
Sasa nilipata kasingu nikahamisha watoto kwanza na mama, ndio sasa mimi nishughulike na kukaa huko kuchunga vitu huko ndani.
Residents are expressing their fear as the water level continue to rise. This increase follows heavy downpours that have caused River Malewa, a major tributary, to swell continuously.
Hii maji hii sio mara ya kwanza. Hii ni mara ya pili. Na tunaona ya raundi hii itatuadhiri hata kuliko ya mara ya kwanza.
Common notion we have is water is a gift from God, and we use it as if it's an infinite resource.
In Nyandarua, there's a lot of water, and Nyandarua feeds Nairobi, but you find that the people in Nyandarua are not having enough water. Also, Naivasha could benefit from Nyandarua if we got the water to Naivasha.
A looming outbreak of waterborne diseases is imminent as the flooding has contaminated many latrines and boreholes. High fluorosis level exacerbate the situation in an area already inadequate supplied with piped water despite its proximity to the lake.
Choo zote zimejaa, watu hawana pali ya kwenda kwa choo. Vizima zote maji imechanganyikana. Hata watu wenye wamezikwa saa hizi wameanza kukuja juu. Tunakuta masanduku iko juu, imetolewa na maji.
Experts advise against sinking boreholes around the lake shore, suggesting a treatment plan as more viable solution to mitigate the situation.
The lake is very polluted on some elements because we have industrial waste going in, and also we have a lot of runoff also going into the lake.
Often we are asked, but everything is working well. This is not the case. We have lots of problems with the water pollution and the sewage, and now the public is trying to engage at the high extent.
While the rains in the lakeshore town may not directly affect the lake waters, the water levels at Lake Naivasha are significantly influenced by the upper catchment in Nyandarua County.
Tumeathirika sana. Manyumba zetu za kukondesha zote ziko kwa maji.
Niko na kwangu, sahi hata siwezi fika huko. Sasa kwangu huwezi access kwenda huko ndani. Lazima upitie kwa mwenyewe, uingie kwa mabati ndio uingie kwa nyumba.
As landlords and tenants count their losses amid ongoing displacements, the future remains uncertain. The coming days will reveal whether the situation will worsen or improve.
The locals here at GOtv Estate remain optimistic that days are going to get better along the way. But when? No one knows. Reporting for TV47 from GOtv in Naivasha, Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Thank you, Willie Dennis. Now, Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nassir has announced the introduction of Community Health Committee in partnership with St. John's Ambulance Kenya of Mombasa region to curb fatalities that is associated with the lack of proper and timely emergency care within the county. Speaking this afternoon during the closing ceremony of the St. John's Save a Life Walkathon held in Mombasa County, the governor hailed efforts by the volunteer organization in saving lives by supporting county disaster response teams during medical emergencies. This walkathon is powered by TV47 and Radio 47 under Cape Media.
Walking through the streets of Mombasa City, participants of the St. John Save Life Walkathon showed serious dedication as they braved the hot sun, marching in numbers for a 21-kilometer distance from St. John offices in Tononoka to the Treasury Square near the Momangina waterfront. The participants stepped out with high spirits, strolling through the city as they happily held their message of saving lives high while moving in harmony from one street to another. Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nassir, who graced the occasion together with Mombasa Senator Mohamed Faki, said the county is soon launching a community health committee program incorporated with St. John Ambulance Health volunteers who will support the county government of Mombasa to save lives during disasters such as floods, road accidents, disease outbreaks and other disasters.
We're proposing legislation that is going to come on board, and that legislation means that we're going to be having disaster committees from village levels, and preferably the disaster committees will be chosen from those who have already undergone this level of training. The same way we have community health promoters, will be have disaster management committees at ward level.
According to the St. John Ambulance Chief Executive Officer Dr. James Wanjagi, this walkathon is aimed at raising funds that will be utilized to train community health promoters and first responders in an attempt to reduce fatalities linked to inadequate and delayed medical emergency care.
But we want to give back this money back into the community so that we can build strong, resilient communities, first aid trained, community health people that can give back to their community. So you will see a lot of that money going back to you.
This is the third walkathon being held by St. John Ambulance in Kenya, in Mombasa holding its first this year. The Save a Life Walkathon Nairobi edition will be held on Saturday 8th June this year from the Railways headquarters grounds near the Railways bus stop. The St. John Save a Life Walkathon is powered by Cape Media, mother station of TV47 and Radio 47.
300 of sorts, but at the last count we were close.
All right, remember today it is to the point, and our conversation tonight, just in a few minutes, will be about bipolar disorder. As remember also, as I had mentioned earlier, that May is Mental Health Awareness